All right, welcome back. So do not forget again to subscribe to our channel, comment, like, and share. Now, unless you comment, okay, we cannot be able to know or view, get to know like what you really want us to do. So you comment, suggest, okay. So we're going to have issues. For example, I was a bit skeptical on adding the GitHub link, and then I got a comment from a client. Okay, if I can show you my comments. Okay, it's under notifications. It must be under notifications. So I got a comment from a subscriber. I'm calling the person a client, and they are like, "Thank you so much. Where can I find the source code, please?" Okay, so this I had to add the what? Okay, I had to add the Git link. Okay, so I do encourage you to comment. Okay, subscribe, share, and then you know we can have more subscribers. So I want to hit 1,000 subscribers. That's the first milestone, and I'm rushing onto that. All right, so let's go ahead. Enough of the yitty talk. So we're going to now create our tables, okay, and then we shall have the statistics display. All right, so with that said, I'm going to add a terminal here, and then I'm also going to make sure that I'm displaying migrations. So I think I need to bring this closer or wide. It depends. So I'm going to go to databases and I go to migrations. I have only 2 migrations. That's the one for creating a user. All right, so we already went through that, the creation of the user. So I'm going to create 2 tables. There are going to be 3 tables. Okay, so we're going to run PHP artisan make migration create underscore, the first will be layers underscore table. Okay, so we're going to give it time to create the table, and then we go ahead and create other tables. So at the beginning, it may take time. At the beginning, it may take time, but then it will adopt. Let's go ahead and create 2 other tables. The table for the broiler cycle 1, and then the table for broiler cycle 2. Great. So this is going to be a one, like the table is going to have very many columns. Some will be mathematical. So I'm not going like to separate. I want one user to have one row, okay, with several columns, okay? Because this is going to be a free system. I don't want to have complicated managements where every record is going to be done. So each record will be updating just a record. So which means most of the things are going to be on by default. So I'll go to layers, and then under layers, I'm going to record this. First, I'm going to record the table, and the integer will be number of hens, number of hens, okay? Then, by default, the default unit will be 0. Now, the reason I'm putting the default units is because it is going to update, okay? It's going to update every time a user adds something, but it will be created. Every time a user is registered, it will also registers, it will automatically work with the system. So again, I'm going to have a table where I'll record an integer integer feeds that will be in weight, and then the default again. So I won't mind whatever or status or what, but it's a calculation of how many feeds, like what amount of feeds you've spent on them, okay? So which means daily you will be recording the feeds. Now we can even have an average of daily feeds ever since, okay? But that can be calculated, daily feeds times the number of days so far covered. It will be calculated by the other side on the front end. So again, we're going to take now the mortality. So integer, and then we are taking in mortality, and the default again will be 0. The default for mortality, like how many number of birds you've lost since you started. Then again, table.
Okay, and this table is going to take in an integer of number of eggs, and the default will be 0. Default will be 0. Again, the table will take in integer of eggs sold, number of trays sold. Let me call it sold trays. Sold trays, which will be, again, by default, 0.
So we're going to have a foreign key, okay? So this will be FK. So it's going to be an integer, and it will be an FK user, okay? An FK user will be the user ID from the users table. So we already have the users table. Is it users here or user from the users table? Great. So we are done with the layers, okay? So I'm going to take the same and do it in broilers, but this time around I think we shall look at the birds sold at the end of the season, okay? Okay, so we need to go back to users, and we find a way of recording something else. We could record donations, or we shall add a transactions table if we want to, but I think let's start with that. So we're going to go to the registration. First of all, we're going to create a model. So PHP artisan make model, and the first model we're going to have will be layers model. So make model layers, and I'm going to come to that. Then I'm also going to make, okay, so the model is here, make models layers. So there it is. I think we can start with the layers and then we go on, okay? So which means we need to run a PHP artisan migrate to migrate our table. And we shall also see how to create the installation in any case if you get onto the package, so that it installs and records the first default, because you want to be the owner, you know, in any country or what. We're going to go to Farm Lite. Then we see this. So we have a migration for layers. Here they are. okay? And then we have that and that and that. So I'm going to go to the model, okay? Okay, so protected, sorry, protected, fillable, and our table is layers. Our table is layers in the database, and we're taking in one number of hens, seven. Is that how it's spelled the other side? 7, we are taking in profits, then 8 expenses. So this will be profits, then 8 expenses, then FK user is the foreign key for the user. So FK user is just the foreign key for the user, and that's how I record it. All right, so we have that. So we need to make sure that there is a record done. So we're going to write a controller, but we already have a registration controller, and that's what we should do first. I want when the user registers, something is done by creating the two columns, or all the columns that are required, okay? So which means I'm going to create a model for them. Okay, let's first do one example for automatically creating something for the layers, okay? So I'm going to go to now the registration, okay, where we used to register. So I'm going to go to the controllers, okay? Then I look for the auth controller, then I look for the register controller, okay? So under the register controller, what do I need to do, okay? So I can write different, what should it do, and like after creating the user, it should go ahead and run this and this function, okay? So that's what I'm going to do.